Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY is sponsored by Independent Bank and other sponsors coming back on in future months, and we're looking forward to that. We have had some pretty intense shows over the past couple of months, so today we are going to lighten the mood up just a little bit, and we've got Mayor Carla Filkins on with us today.
We do. We've got the boss on the line with us. Hi, Carla.
Hi, Rich and Katy.
Carla, one of the things Rich and I like to drive by and think is so beautiful, such a great addition to Cadillac, is the Cadillac Commons area. Can you tell us a little bit about your vision for that and how you think it's working, and then how you think the community is going to use it in the future?
Oh, gosh. I like to drive by and look at it, too.
I imagine you do.
Yeah.
With a lot of pride.
That's right.
Oh, there were so many people involved in making that happen. And, when I think about, gosh, what was the vision when I first started in this job as mayor, I just really saw people coming together for a common project and a common vision. And it just all happened beautifully. And, it started, of course, with the Performing Arts Pavilion that the Rotary gifted to the community.
Right.
And, the first part of the project, if you will, it was 5 phases. And the first part of that project was to beautify the area surrounding that pavilion. It is just a gem in this community. Mm-hmm. And so that was the start of the vision. But, if you think back when this all started, we had Michigan State University come in with their team and their visionaries, and they talked to the people in the community. So this wasn't, it wasn't a Carla vision. This is what the people of Cadillac said we'd love to see here. And they made it come to life. All we did was we provided, well, gosh, if we wanted something besides the parking lot, what would that look like? What would we like to see there? And I remember being a part of those charrettes where they actually ended up coming up with 2 visions for what it would look like down there. And then the community chose the one that was kind of their favorite. And then the city staff and, the folks from Michigan Municipal League and the council and interested parties in the community all came together, and this vision for the 5 phases of Cadillac Commons came to be.
Amazing. I think it's great that the city utilizes the waterfront for everyone. And years ago, I remember an urban planner coming to town, and I saw different people in the community meeting with this urban planner, and him telling me it's so unusual for the public to have this kind of access to this beautiful lake. Whereas in other communities, you're just going to see private home ownership, and you're not going to see, look at where our fire department is and our city building and this type of stuff.
You're absolutely right, Katy. And that's one of the things that is very unique about Lake Cadillac. The open waterfront that you see now is always going to be open waterfront, and it's going to be there for the people who live in the city of Cadillac.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Think of the stories that people have about walking down and learning how to fish on the city dock and seeing Santa come, at the pavilion and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're walking down there and you're going to go to a concert in the summer, probably directed by Mr. Filkins. And then you can look over, and then there's going to be something going on at the Cadillac Commons. And you're allowing weddings and private use of that space too. Is that correct?
That's correct. I think that, as we got through phase 1 and then phase 2, when we put in the fire pit and the splash pad and the beautiful new parking area and safe sidewalks, people were starting to see that area so much differently when we buried the power lines and we put speakers down there, and we were starting to create a place where people could come for fellowship. And for me personally, Katy and Rich, I think that that's one of the things that was most important to me, was that this place was going to be where our community came together again.
And it is going to be when we're all allowed to be
exactly.
again.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
It makes me sad, but when I drive through there, it makes me sad not to see all of this activity down there. But I would just encourage everyone, if we keep doing the great job that we're doing right now, taking care of one another, we're all going to be back there soon enough.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I will tell you, the market. I was there in December when the Footlighters did their Christmas thing. And you don't necessarily think of that area as a cold weather area, but it worked.
Well,
It's
when you
what a
bring
wonderful
something
place.
so wonderful into that space, look what you can do with it.
Absolutely.
And I was so proud of them for doing that. When people were concerned about the money that was being put in for a farmer's market, that was never the vision for it to be just a farmer's market. The vision is what it has become. People have been married there. There have been, my goodness, the Cadillac Community Foundation had a big celebration there. It can become what anybody can think of.
Right, it's a venue.
Yes,
you make the event what you want it to be in that space, because it's a beautiful space.
Can I ask before you move on, Katy, if somebody wants to use the market or that area for a graduation party or for a family reunion or anything like that, who do they call and how do they make that arrangement?
All they have to do is to call the city office and speak with the gals in the office there. And it's a nominal fee, and I'm sorry, I can't remember what it is. It's under $100, I'm certain of it. A nominal fee to even use the space.
Wow.
And that's just so that, if we can clean it up afterwards, et cetera, et cetera. But if you think about having to rent a venue or something like that, what it normally would cost you, I mean, this is just not only is it a lot less expensive, but it's very unique.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
And you don't have to worry about it if it rains.
No.
You still have the natural beauty that surrounds you. And even if it's wet outside, you could still use it. And
you can. If it's windy, we can pull the sides down. They're electric, and take the sides up and down as needed, and there's some heat in there. And we had to make a little bit of an improvement to that heat, but I think that's been done. And, I'm just really, really excited to see what's going to end up there, with all the different festivals that may not happen this year, but in years to come, the festivals can use that space, and they have already started to do that.
Excellent.
So if you got a kid who in the class of 2021, think about that, moms and dads.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely, or for a family reunion.
Absolutely.
You can have your picnic and your fellowship there under the pavilion, but then you can walk through the city park. You could go down to the dock, and and conceivably you could get married at the pavilion, and you could have your reception in the market.
Wow,
and you could do all of your beautiful pictures right there.
Yes, segue from one right. That's wonderful. I bet people do that. I bet they do. Carla, what's on the docket? What do you have planned for the city, and what's your next project?
Oh my gosh! Well, there's a lot still going on. Right. We have the construction that's going on downtown, the lofts, and I hope that they get to start moving forward soon. I know that there is some concern in the community about, not everybody can afford to live there. But I guess the same could be true for other condos in the community. But what, I hope that people will come to understand is that, they're making, 84 more living spaces available in the community. So what's going to happen then is that the market is going to start moving.
Right.
People are going to leave where they are living right now, and move into the lofts, and it's going to open up more places and more opportunity for people to live, and that's really exactly what we needed in our community.
You know as well as I do, Katy, people are screaming for homes right now.
They are. There is a housing shortage, no question.
Yeah.
So you think we're filling a need there, Carla?
I do.
Okay.
I do, and I just really hope that people understand how it's being filled, and that, we're going to keep our ears open just like we did with this one, and behind the scenes with, help from the state of Michigan, the MEDC, and I mean, there were so many people involved helping these private investors get this off the ground. And, I give them a lot of credit. They've been really tough through all of this, because it's what has happened is just unprecedented. Unprecedented for them to be able to bring this to fruition in Cadillac. And that's just one building. When the second building goes up, that moves more housing.
Yes. Sometimes people want it to be their idea. And so one of my favorite sayings is, well, it doesn't have to be your idea to be the best idea.
Right.
That's what we say.
We should all know that.
We should know that by now. Listen to all the ideas.
Yeah. So that's really important to me, and I really think, as we keep, I don't know if you guys feel it like I feel it, but I just think Cadillac is just coming to life over the last however many years, with the help of the Michigan Municipal League and our corporate people out, DTE Energy and Wolverine, and I mean, there's just so many out there that have been trying to find unique ways to make projects move.
Yes,
not unlike our solar panel garden out at where the old Mitchell building was that burnt down. Right. We finally got that taken care of.
Yeah, excellent.
And the only way we could do it was with that creative thought from Wolverine, and to put the solar panels there, and then to prepare the property for the rest of the property, get it ready for use.
And a lot of this, Carla, is directly related to your positivity and your insistence that everybody's working towards the common good. I really think you've got to let everybody get on board, and let's talk about what's best for Cadillac mentality. And there's an undercurrent because of it. And things are going to continue to happen in a positive fashion for the city under your leadership.
Well, thank you, Katy.
I believe that. Okay, so besides housing, besides what you did accomplish with the Commons, what hasn't come to fruition yet that you're thinking about?
Oh my gosh! Well, let's think about our first responders. Okay. We've just got a fabulous team at the city.
Yes.
And we have brought on our new public safety director, Adam, and he's just a terrific leader. And, it's always been our goal to get, detective back in place. So they continue that work in just right-sizing and getting the positions out there and filled so that we can cover just as much as possible to keep our community safe.
Well, and I just have to say, I mean, if you're Adam, and during this, I mean, he accepts this position, the director of public safety, and then this happens. I mean,
right.
Overwhelming.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that he's here.
Yes.
I mean, we just, at the city, I'm telling you, we have just a terrific team. I don't care what department that we talk about. They are on point. And, our director of finance, Owen Roberts, man, he's going to have his work cut out for him, huh?
Oh, he sure is. But the city's been receiving awards for financial management for years, so we're solid.
Yeah, we have been just really, really fortunate, and he's a master. And if there's an undercurrent there, he's going to find it.
That's great.
And that leads me to thinking about also our new well fields that are coming up.
Okay.
That's something exciting that we're working on, and what that will allow us to do is to completely close down the old well field north up by the dog park.
Okay.
Those wells were contaminated.
I see.
So, not that many years ago, we put in the new well field up on top of the hill, but we have to have a second well field because you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket, if you will, to have all of your wells on one site if there were a contamination issue.
Oh my! Okay, I didn't understand that you needed to have two, one running.
So that's why it's so important to have them separated geographically.
Wow!
Because that's our water that we're talking about.
The first well field site is towards the end of Stimson Street between Stimson and Crosby. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yep.
That's the newest one.
Okay.
Yep. And so the new one will be out off of, and I can't think of the name of the road, but it's on the south end of Cadillac.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
So we know you want a detective. And is this kind of following best practices, Carla? I mean, are we looking at like-sized communities and saying they've had success with these positions? Is it a template that you're looking at when you are determining what staffing should look like?
Well, I don't know if I can answer that question from an educational standpoint, but I think just from a practicality standpoint, every community is going to staff to the needs of their community.
Okay.
And, we as a community, we use the Travers TNT.
Yes.
We don't necessarily have a member on that team, but we are a part of that, and so they work in our community. And so the state police, the sheriff's department, and the city all work together to complement each other's work in and around the city.
I see.
So there's a lot of wonderful work going on behind the scenes, and so really, we know what our budget is, we know what our staffing is, and it's putting them in the best places to take care of the needs of the community.
I see. And sometimes getting ahead of it instead of being reactive, what's coming next and what do we need to be on top of? I know we've worked hard on meth and we've seen drastic improvements in that area because it was all hands on deck type, effort.
Exactly. Exactly. And Cadillac is not unique in that regard.
Right. Yes.
Not at all.
We will continue our discussion with Cadillac Mayor Carla Filkins coming up on 107.9 CDY and Cadillac Unscripted.
I'd like to transition to the other day job, because again, talk about being in the eye of the storm with your specific role within the Munson healthcare system. Can you tell us how it's going?
Sure. For those that don't know, I am actually, during the day, I am the Director of Supply Chain for the South Region of Munson Healthcare, and I manage the supply chain staff at the Cadillac Hospital and at Manistee.
Okay.
And then I actually work with the other hospitals as they need. I just work on different projects with them.
Okay.
But, it has been, this is my 40th year here at the hospital.
Unbelievable. Congratulations. Yes. No wonder you're working on projects for other hospitals. Like, they're bringing the expert. That's what they say.
So this is my 40th year, and in all my time here, I have never experienced anything like this.
Okay, what does that mean specifically in terms of stress?
Oh, no, I wouldn't even say from a stress standpoint. When you think about supply chains, supply chains have become so lean over the 10 to 20 years. It just appears to people like there's an unending supply of masks, and there's an unending supply of gowns, and there's an unending supply of whatever it is that we need.
Meat.
Because we can place an order, and it can be here tomorrow if we need it to be, or it'll just come in on our truck from the distributor.
But there's a lot more that goes.
It's like our kids think, that all they have, just, go to the bank, right? So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I forgot to tell you, Dad, I took the last of the shredded cheese. Can you go to the store and get some more?
Exactly. But obviously this is much more important than, shredded cheese.
Right.
And when this all started, we have a really sophisticated supply chain at Munson. Back in 99, Munson and the two Mercy hospitals, or Trinity Health, actually built a distribution center in Traverse City. And so the supply chain, or the purchasing departments from the two Cadillac and Grayling Hospital and Munson Medical Center, all came together for one supply chain at this distribution center. And our company is called the Northern Michigan Supply Alliance. And so there was one purchasing department, and we have at that time a 44,000 square foot distribution center that we would feed into, and then our trucks would go out daily to the hospital. And since 99, we have continued to grow and evolve that facility, and now, as you know, Munson Healthcare has Otsego in Charlevoix, Grayling and Cadillac in Manistee, and Paul Oliver. And so now that supply chain, there's one supply chain for all of those hospitals. And so when we think about, a situation like this, we have to think about being able to provide for all of the service that's going on at all of those hospitals.
So, Carla, can we go back to the facility in Traverse City, just so I'm understanding? So now folks from these different hospitals that are in a like role, viewers, they're ordering supplies. The supplies are going to the facility in Traverse City, and then they're there when you need them. Is that correct? Or
that's correct.
I see.
We have a par level there based on the usage of all of the hospitals, and so trucks do a daily run to the outlying hospitals, and they do 3 runs a day, I think, over to the medical center. But yes, we place our orders upon the distribution center. And if it's not something that's stocked at the distribution center because our usage isn't high enough, that order simply goes up to the purchasing department, and they place an order directly with the supplier and have it shipped on site to, say, Cadillac.
There has to be a tremendous amount of communication between departments to make this work right.
One of the things, Rich, that through all of this that I was just, since I've worked for, I've been in this position working for the Supply Alliance, we've got a wonderful management team. And we've always worked really well together, but we've never had to work so together as we have during this period of time. Mm-hmm. And man, rock stars.
Oh, good.
The communication. I mean, we implemented daily phone calls. And I remember very early on when this all started, and, I remember saying to them, I just think we need to stay close.
Yes.
And this is before any of us realized what was going to happen.
Right.
And but just immediately I felt like, maybe Carla's on call this week, but even though Carla's on call this week, I should feel comfortable reaching out to any other one of the managers, and they all felt the same way. It was like, mm-hmm. We're going to be in this together, and we sure were.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
to hear.
It was really amazing.
And that was going to be one of my next questions. What has changed for you in this job in the last 2 months and a week?
Oh, well, gosh. Well, I think that I was speaking with another manager here at Cadillac today, and one of the things that I think happened in all of this is that everyone is so much more aware of what everyone else is doing.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They understand better what the need is.
Mm-hmm. And each other's job function, too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And really?
How asking the question every day, how can I support you more? Let me know how I can help, and it just caused people who have worked together for a very long time to get to know each other a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm. And the best teams are the ones that are made up of people who understand what the other has to deal with every day.
You're absolutely right. And I've worked here for 40 years, and I have always so much appreciated and have been honored to be able to do that, but I have never been prouder than I am right now of the work that we do here in the community.
Oh, that is great to hear. There's a saying that growth happens when things get uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, uncomfortables is not the strong enough word to describe what you've just been through, a firestorm. And then it sounds like all the relationships got stronger professionally and probably personally too.
I absolutely agree with that. And, the other thing that I don't want to miss being able to say is that, not just from our supply chain perspective, but from our communities, people started reacting right away, thinking about what was mm-hmm. it that the hospital was going to need. They're going to need support. What can I do? And it was, from a personal perspective, it was from the different companies in Cadillac. It was from, the educational system in Cadillac. It was everyone. And it was just amazing.
That's great. They anticipated your needs.
They did. They did, and this community it was amazing.
So, Carla, in a more metropolitan area, it might be, well, and I hope everything's okay over the hospital in case I need them. And instead, it was the opposite. What might they need of me? That's great to hear.
Yeah, I think you're right when you say that, Katy. I think that it wasn't, just because, I have to stay home because of this pandemic, what's going on around me. And I mentioned this in my article that I did with the news. I was the one here at Cadillac that accepted all of the donations for a home sewn mask. And I just got probably 200 more today.
Amazing.
But, I'm a quilter, and I know how much love and just worry went into every single one of those masks. For somebody sitting there sewing them, thinking about their friends and their family that are on the front line. Yeah. And it's just a beautiful gift.
That's wonderful to hear. Yes.
Is there anything else that you know of right now, Carla, that the hospital needs?
Right.
Well, I think that from a supply chain perspective, we're not leaving any stone unturned, and we have our daily calls, and we have, our whole list of personal protective equipment that we're monitoring. And it's not just personal protective. It's also, when you think about ventilators and respiratory items, we're watching all those things too.
Okay.
But from a community perspective, I would say that the hand sanitizer that we were so worried about, we righted the ship on that. We've righted the ship on the face mask. From a community perspective, when you see these pictures of, people doing chalk art or people, writing these beautiful notes and cards, those are all hanging here at the hospital.
Wow.
And they mean the world to folks, So just, taking a moment to, pop a sign in your front yard or drop a note to someone who works in healthcare and is working at this time, that means a lot.
Okay,
and,
some of
and
the visual
all of that
things.
information is being shared when it comes here. And another part of my job is we do the mail here at the hospital, and so I see that stuff come in, and I make sure that it gets to where it needs to go. And the bulletin board, the employee board, is covered with stuff, and that lifts people's spirits.
Oh, wow. That's heartwarming, isn't it, Rich?
It is. It
really is.
So two big jobs, one running the city and certainly running the supply chain. I
don't run the supply chain. I am part of the bigger picture, but definitely, keeping the train on the track at our two hospitals and being able to be a part of that much bigger picture is really rewarding.
Now, I know I'm not going to get a long answer from you because you're so humble. We know it would be impossible for your coworkers to underestimate you at the hospital. But is it fair to say maybe that in your role as mayor, I think maybe you were underestimated in terms of what you could get done?
Oh, you're sweet. I don't like to talk about myself.
She's not going to answer the
You
question.
were right. You were right.
She's not going to answer the question.
Brief answer. That's okay.
Yeah.
No.
You've accomplished so much.
I honestly, I couldn't do and I couldn't be what I am for this organization without my staff. They are amazing. They just motivate me every single day.
Do you listen to everybody's ideas?
Oh, yeah.
I love it. See, so it's this
even the crazy ones. Sometimes.
Well, the crazy ideas or the crazy people?
Both.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for your time and your leadership and telling us about your journey. And we can't wait to see what Carla Filkins does next, can we, Rich?
Oh.
Right on.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's been fun talking to you.
Don't bet against her, Rich. Thank you, Carla.
All right.
Mayor
Love
Carla.
you guys. Bye.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
Mayor Carla Filkins on with us on Cadillac Unscripted, 107.9 CDY, sponsored every week by Independent Bank. And join Katy and myself 1 week from today, same time, same station, for another Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY.